Well, hello, beloved. It's me, Coach Carmen, in the kitchen. I wanted to share with you a sauce that I use to make my raw veggies. And I've been talking about my raw veggies, and so a lot of people want to try these amazing veggies that are not cooked. So I just wanted to share with you this very special recipe. Even though it's super special, it is super easy. It really is so easy. I'm going to share it with you because I've had some people who said that they wanted to try it and they weren't sure of the ingredients. So here we go. All right, so the first thing I want to show you is that I like to store this dressing in a pint-sized mason jar, and I like to use this size because I like to make a lot of it. It lasts in the refrigerator for at least 3 weeks, if not 4 weeks. So there's nothing in this that will go bad very fast, so that's a good thing. And you want to make a lot of it so that you can, once you make it, it's done and you can use it over and over for different dishes. Okay, so we're going to start with the olive oil, and let's just say that let's just say it's a cup of olive oil. Okay, so using a cup of olive oil. So if I'm using a cup of olive oil, of course it's organic olive oil, then I'm going to be using about 6 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, make sure the light is on here, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we have the nutritional yeast, we have the olive oil, and now we're going to use some dulse flakes. Now dulse flakes are actually seaweed. They are so good for you and they are delicious. They actually have a salty taste. They don't really taste like the ocean too much, so you don't have to worry about it giving your food a super fishy taste, but it does give the food extra flavor, which is pretty cool. So it gives it flavor and it gives it a lot of extra nutrition. And of course this is organic, and it does give you that salty component, which is nice for those of you who are diabetic and or you have high blood pressure or whatever. You don't want to use a lot of salt. This is a good substitute. So I'm going to use a tablespoon of the dulse flakes. And then we have, let's just continue with the dry. So then I have some garlic powder. When I first started making this recipe, I only used onion powder. But now I use onion powder and garlic powder for this recipe. So let's do a tablespoon of onion powder. I want to make sure it's very flavorful. And then we'll do a tablespoon of garlic powder. Okay, so the last and most important ingredient, well, it's not the most important, but it really does give it all the flavor. It's amazing. And that is the Bragg liquid aminos. So you can use the Bragg liquid aminos, or you can use some other natural type of soy sauce. This is soy sauce, but it has a soy sauce taste. So nowadays you can even purchase the coconut aminos, and it gives you the soy sauce taste without soy. So this has soy in it, but if you have an issue with soy, you can use the coconut aminos, and that works just as well. Okay, oops. All right, so let's just squeeze some of that in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 squirts, because that's really our salty component. This is going to make it nice and flavorful for you. So I'm going to stir this up. Now what I do oftentimes is I take this and I just put it in my NutriBullet. And I'll mix it up in the NutriBullet because that breaks all of the nutritional yeast pieces up, so you don't really have any granules in there, but that's okay. This is fine too. So you just stir this up, and then you give it a taste, because the taste is important. You want to make sure that it tastes right. Okay, I can't see how you can really mess this up. That is really good, because everything in it is pretty delicious on its own. So that's it. That's my sauce. Now you can use this on cooked vegetables too, but we're talking about raw vegan right now. So this is the sauce that I am using for my raw vegan vegetables. Okay, so this is a bowl of vegetables that I cut yesterday. And I had to do this right away because they were starting to shrivel up a little bit because I had them in the refrigerator since yesterday. So what I have here is I have some mushrooms, I have zucchini, I have orange peppers, yellow peppers, I have some celery and red onions, and what else? I think that's it. That's a lot. That's enough, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is take my sauce, and I'm going to pour the sauce onto my veggies. So I could just do it like this, actually. See, pour the sauce on there, and I'm just going to gently mix this up. Make sure you can get a good see here. Let's see here. Okay. All right, so I'm just mixing this up for you, because you want to make sure all the vegetables are coated. That's another reason why you want to make a lot of the sauce. You want to make a lot of the sauce because you want to make sure that you can incorporate the sauce in all of the vegetables, and you don't have to worry about running out of sauce, right? Right. Right. Let's get some more light here. Okay. So I'm going to add some more sauce. And I'm telling you, this sauce is everything. I mean, you look at this. It already looks pretty doggone good, doesn't it? It really does. So what you want to do is let this, you know, you really don't have to let this marinate, to be honest with you. It's not like when I'm making the collard greens, or if I'm making, what else? Any of the greens that have to, you know, need time to break down. You really need to break down the cellular walls so that it gives, so that it begins to cook. Like the salt component of your spices will actually cause the vegetables to cook, but cook without heat. See, that's the secret. You're actually cooking the vegetables without heat. And the spices also break down the vegetables, and the vegetables begin to take on that cooked feel and look. It's amazing. Okay, you see how that's looking? Yeah. So, as I was saying, with the greens, like the very tough greens, kale, collard greens, you definitely want them to sit in the sauce. And I use a different sauce for my collard greens. My collard greens has a completely different sauce, which is amazing. So this is the basic vegetable sauce. So if you want to make raw vegetables that give you that taste of being and the texture of being sauteed, you know, on top of the stove in a pan, a sauteing pan. That's what this is going to do for you. All right. Okay, so that's basically it. I see a few more pieces of zucchini that needs a little dressing right there. So, okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to take all of this and put it on my Teflon sheet so that I can dehydrate it. So they're going to be dehydrated vegetables. Yes. So let me do that. Show you how that works. Okay, so this is my Teflon sheet. This is the tray, the dehydrator tray. That's the dehydrator tray. And this is the screen. I would not put these vegetables on the screen because they're too saucy, so it would run, right? So don't want to do that. I want to make sure that I have a covering. So that's what that is. Okay, so basically I am pouring this out onto the Teflon sheet. Like that. I'll probably need 2 trays. So I'm just laying it out like this. I don't want to get them flat. And I've had so many of my clients tell me, you know, they've come here and we've done food demos during the Healed Whole Body and Soul gatherings and workshops that I have here in my home. And so many people have said, forget about dehydrating. This is like delicious just as it is. And so I'm going to take a little piece of this mushroom and taste it. And they're right. They're absolutely right. It's pretty tasty. But, you know, I'm all about taking it to, you know, giving it a home run. And that will mean that it needs to be warm and the flavors need more time to mingle. So you really want to infuse each of these pieces of vegetable, these vegetable pieces, you want them to be infused with flavor. That is what's so important. And that is what makes the food like even if you are a meat eater, you would not miss the meat with something like this, especially with the mushrooms, because they do have a meaty texture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dehydrate these, and I'll come back. I'll come back again, and I'll show you the completed meal. All right, but this is it basically, right? And what I'm going to do is put this in a dehydrator and dehydrate it for probably, it won't take more than 3 or 4 hours, not even that long maybe. And you'll be amazed at how it actually cooks in the dehydrator, even though it's not being cooked. So all of the life force of the vegetables are still in the vegetables. All the healing properties are there. You're not killing it. You know, when you heat up food over 118 degrees, you start to destroy the enzymes in the food. And the enzymes are what makes the food life-giving. The enzymes give us life. And when you're constantly killing the food by overcooking and cooking food, you know, you're not getting all of the life force that God actually put in the food. God put life energy into the food, into the plants. And when we cook the food, we are killing the enzymes and the life. So basically, that's it. Hey, who's that? Hey, Cheyenne. Thank you. Thanks for the love, honey. Yeah, so that's it. So I'm going to put this in a food dehydrator. And what I'm going to prepare with this is I'll probably make some cauliflower rice. And again, my cauliflower rice is not cauliflower rice that I buy from the supermarket and then just put it on a plate with vegetables. No, no, no. First of all, I like to grate my cauliflower fresh because I want it to be organic. And I'm going to put a little bit of this sauce in the cauliflower rice. Then put it into the oven, into the dehydrator, not oven, into the dehydrator. And then the cauliflower rice will start to, it will become more like it was cooked, right? So I'm going to either make the cauliflower rice with this dish, or I'm going to make, what's the other thing? Some raw living couscous. I call it living couscous. So let me just go over the ingredients one more time. So we have the olive oil. So we did 1 cup of olive oil, organic of course. We did about 5 to 6 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, right? Of course, this is not brewer's yeast. This is a different kind of yeast. You don't use this to make bread with. This is a nutritional yeast, and it has B vitamins and B12. So if you're a vegan, you don't eat meat, this is going to really be important for your diet because it has B12. And vegans can only get B12 from this nutritional yeast and maybe some supplements, right? So this is awesome. And it tastes cheesy and yummy. It's really, really good. So nutritional yeast, make sure you get some. This one's non-GMO too, which is great. Very important. Then we added some tablespoon of garlic powder, onion powder, and garlic powder. We also use a tablespoon of dulse flakes, and we were talking about how important dulse flakes are, and that gives you the salty component, which is nice, and it adds that extra flavor, but it's not super fishy at all, but it's very, very flavorful. So this is the dulse flakes look like. See that? Awesome. And then we added about 3 to 4 squirts of the Bragg liquid aminos, or as I said, you can also use coconut aminos if you don't want to use anything that has soy in it, right? You can also use namashoyu. Namashoyu is another natural, organic, healthy alternative to a soy sauce. So when you are making food and you want to give it flavor and you want to give it that satiating and almost like savory taste, you want to use something like this. This is what's going to make it savory. This is what's going to make it absolutely delicious, right? So this was my sauce that I made, and these are the veggies that are coated with the sauce. All right, so I'm going to put this in a dehydrator, and I'll come back and I'll show you, I'll do another video and I'll show you the meal completed, okay? All right, so listen, have a marvelous manifestation Monday, and meet me at sharingthebliss.com. Get your 7-day mini course. If you're not part of the community yet, what are you waiting for? We got it going on. We are going to help you spirit, soul, and body holistically, God's way, and it's a beautiful thing. Love you. Look forward to talking to you soon. Bye-bye.